Hello YouTube, back with the next My Little Pony review, and today we're reviewing the character Mr. Moochick, who's basically the pony's go-to for any type of trouble they get themselves into. Although, of course, even they find out that he's not always capable of helping them out. There are things he doesn't know very well. He's obviously very knowledgeable, at least for the most part, in terms of, where they live and what's possible and not possible. Of course, even simple things like a game of checkers he's not very good at. Because he's his little rabbit friend, I think it's Habit or Hobbit, or I don't know. You don't see him all that often, and he never really speaks. He's never really said by name, but you only find that out in the movie. But even then, he knows the limitations. He knows that there's only one rainbow of light in existence, because the ponies asked him for another one, and there's no way to make them. And even he said that he doesn't always comply with their desires, especially not just from that standpoint. Of course, in the movie, he also says, "Well, you lost your home, but and you've given me no other option. You basically don't get everything you want. It's pretty much as simple as that." He does eventually help them out, but it takes a long time after, like, I don't know, 20 attempts to actually get the right home they wanted. And that was after, and then after that, he is basically giving up, having no idea what to do about it. But, he's obviously someone the ponies trust, or they wouldn't go to him after a while. I mean, Moochick does have limitations. He doesn't always know what, you don't know how old he is either. I would say he's fairly old. I don't even know whether you'd calculate him in human years or whatever being he's supposed to be, like an elf, or I don't think he's an elf though. But obviously, he's definitely a character one can get used to. Mind the dog. My dog is having fun in the background there, so I don't mind her. I mean, he's not this all-powerful being that can give them whatever they want in 5 seconds flat. He has limitations. He knows. He's probably one of the more knowledgeable characters on both the show and the movie. I would say, arguably, he's in terms of he may be the most knowledgeable character, at least the one that knows the most about where the ponies live. Although we don't see him that much in the TV show. I guess we see him every now and then, but usually the ponies can handle it generally. The threats they come up against. Kind of would have been interesting to see, where Moochick would have gone. You see a little bit of where he lives, because, I mean, he has that one episode where he has the walking stick, and he ends up finding out how much literal pressure he's putting on that poor stick. Yes, apparently has a personality. And ends up hiding. He ends up also causing a mess for themselves because when magic goes haywire, there's nothing really he can do about it. Except getting a book that, as it turns out, as luck would have it, inside the house that's now basically, willing to devour him if he even tries to go in the house. He ends up getting the book, the desired book he wants, gets everything back to normal, but it just goes to show he's not that all-powerful being that if they can go to him, they'll get everything solved. I mean, granted, yes, the characters do go, okay, yeah, they are confident they can get the help they need, but of course, even then, it doesn't always work out that way. They even go to him for Mimic, the character who only makes makes one appearance, Golden Horseshoes, but even then, it's not like he says, "Here, I got the Golden Horseshoes right here. We can put her on here." They're all scattered. I don't think he knows all that much about it. He knows the relationship between Mimic and the pony that ended up originally using them before they were separated. But this goes to show you, he's got a book for almost everything. Almost. He's definitely a character I think one could get used to. It's definitely a character I think he probably would be enjoyable. I don't know if I considered him enjoyable per se, but it's mostly because we don't see a whole lot of him. You don't see. I'd probably go to him myself if I were in that world. I mean, who else would you go to? I mean, it's not like anyone here would have the information that ponies need. You can't go to the library to find out some magical entity that doesn't exist here. So it wouldn't do you much good. Not that people go to really libraries these days anyway, but yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, despite the fact that he can't win a game of checkers. I mean, you look at the game that is set up. I mean, seriously, in the movie, he's got like 4 layers of floating checkers, and it's hard to know whether that's actually a legit move that his rabbit friend Habit, I'm gonna call him Habit, I guess. I really don't know his name, but because given that he ends up losing pretty badly in that standpoint, because I mean, I think all his pieces get jumped in basically 1 turn. So we don't know whether he's just bad at the game or whether it was just, his rabbit friend is really good at the game. Because, I mean, this is a different variation of the game of checkers. We only know checkers being one level, but there's 4 in this one. So I'm sure there are special rules regarding that in particular, where if your pieces continue on the next level, then you can jump those as well, as long as they are within 1 space of where you're jumping to, so you can go across like that. But obviously, yeah, I mean, he's definitely a character to be enjoyable. He doesn't sing all that often, so if you hate his singing, you don't. I think for the most part, you only have to hear him in the movie, and only once when they end up finally getting where they're, just one little segment where the ponies need a new home because this moose has already got their dream castle. I think it's pretty much his dream castle that they ended up losing in the movie, and then of course you can tell this is where the show is a sequel to the movie because of the Paradise Estate that they now have. They got that in the movie thanks to Mr. Moochick. So obviously they trust him. We don't get to see how they met him. We don't get to see how he was before he met the ponies, what the reaction was. But I think it's arguably, given that we often see him doing, general things around his house, either outside his house or inside, it's probably what he would have done, if he hadn't met the ponies at all. So if we had gotten to see him before he met the ponies in general, probably would not be much different than all the little segments you see before the ponies come to him. He never comes to them. I don't think he knows where they're going to be. They know where he's going to be, generally speaking, in his mushroom house. Yes, that's the name, because it's a mushroom-shaped house. Kind of gives the name. But yeah, I mean, he's definitely a character to, at least have a look at. I mean, if you're not going to overly enjoy his speaking roles, he's definitely got a low pitch, he's a male, kind of elf-like, sort of. I mean, he can't be all that bad if the ponies come to him all the time, or at least I'd say maybe 60% of the time for, with their troubles. It's usually only when it's majorly serious, like with Rainbow of Light and stuff like that. And of course, as I said, he's got limitations. He's not the 5 seconds and your problem solved sort of deal. The writers definitely made him at least acceptable. He made him at least somewhat enjoyable. I wouldn't say, again, I particularly enjoy him, but you'll probably enjoy him a little bit more, especially if you grew up seeing him. Don't know if he got merchandise in the toy line. I don't think he did. Probably should have, because in fact he's a little bit bigger role than some of the other characters on the show do. But yeah, that's my review on Mr. Moochick. Thanks for watching.